So today we start topic 9, and you should have a packet to go along with this. And what we're going to be doing in topic 9 is we're going to be solving quadratic equations. So we've been graphing them in topic 8, now we're going to be solving them in topic 9. And the first thing we're going to look at is just what the solutions would look like if they were graphed. So if we look at this sheet right here, and this is, if you were in class, you would be doing a lot of this by yourself, and that's the reason it's written the way it is. So you need to go out to Desmos, and you need to be able to graph this equation. So let's go and do that right now. We are going to go to Desmos.com, but if you have a printer, print this sheet off. It's going to be lots easier if you didn't get the packet. If you're home on Monday and you did not get the packet, then go ahead and print this off if you can. If not, at least write down what the equation is. Write down that, and write down this information right here. That will make your world a little bit easier. Okay, and then we'll come back to this sheet. Okay, so now off to Desmos. So now we're going to be graphing the equation. So y equals x squared plus 2x minus 15. And I'm going to move my screen up a little so you can see it a little bit better. And all we care about is what are the x-intercepts. So right here is an x-intercept, and right here is an x-intercept. Note it's 3, and it's negative 5. So negative 3, 0, that's the x-intercept, and 3, 0. Those are the x-intercepts. Let's go back to our worksheet. So now we found out what our x-intercepts are. Oops, sorry about that. Let's erase those. So we found out that our y-intercepts are negative 5 and 3. So what I want you to do is I want you to take each of these and plug it in. So you're going to plug in negative 5. So I'm going to plug my x-intercept. Notice my y-coordinate is 0. So in place of y, I'm putting 0. That's already placed for you. Then you're going to put a negative 5 in here and a negative 5 in here. You're going to put a 3 in here and a 3 in there. Now, take out your calculator, find out what that is equal to. Go. So what you found out is that you have a true statement. You have 0 equals 0, right? 0 equals 0. So, did you get a true statement with each of these? Yes, you did. Okay, and so that's really important because we got a true statement. That means that negative 5 is one of the solutions and 3 is one of the solutions. Okay, now I want you to do number 2, and I'm going to let you do this one all by number 1 and number 2. So you're doing this one and this one. See what happens when you plug in everything, and then notice what you're going to do. You're going to plug in each of the x-intercepts just like we did right here and right here. Okay, you're going to do that for all of them. You're going to write down the x-intercepts, then plug it in. Note that your y-coordinate is going to be 0. Okay, go. So I'm just checking in to make sure, that you're getting what I'm getting. So on number 1, when you plug in negative 4, notice that, so when I plug in negative 4, I get that 0 equals 0. And when I plug in negative 2.5, I get 0 equals 0. Is that what you got? Good. So now go and do number 2. I wanted to make sure you understood my mistake before you go any further. On this one right here, instead of negative 0.5, that should actually be a positive 0.5 or 1/2. So this should be a positive 1/2. This should be positive 0.5. And I noticed that when I was plugging it in. Okay, go back. So hopefully you noticed with both of them that you did that you got 0 equals 0 also. And all that means, so did you get a true statement? Yes, you did. So what that means is that negative 4 and negative 2.5 are solutions, are the solutions. And negative 2 and positive 0.5 are the solutions. And hopefully that's what you notice, because if you have a true statement, what do you think that can be concluded about x-intercepts? The x-intercepts are the solutions to the, I should actually say the x-coordinates of the x-intercepts. Wow, I messed that word up. Okay, so let's try this again. The x-coordinate of the x-intercepts are the solutions. And while I have your attention here, I want you to kind of see what's happening. So we have x-intercepts, and the x-intercepts, okay, those x-intercepts are going to tell us what the solutions are. It's going to be the x-coordinate of the x-intercepts. But we're going to talk about the x-intercepts being the solutions, but we just mean the x-coordinate. The other thing you'll hear this referred to is that the x-coordinate of the x-intercepts are the zeros. Okay, I'll explain that more later, but if your homework, it talks about what are the zeros, you're going to say that the x-coordinate, because they might say, what are the x-intercepts? You're going to write down an ordered pair of -4, 0. That would be my x-intercept. Then, if they say, what is the solution? The solution is -4, and on ours it was, I don't remember. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So the x-intercept, so the solutions are the x-coordinates of the vertex. Those are also called the zeros. Okay, so the solutions, the zeros, and what was it in our situation? It was -4 and -2.5. Okay, so here's my x-intercept. Here's my x-intercept. Those are called the solutions. They're called the zeros, and eventually, not this year, but in Algebra 2, they'll be called the roots. So that, just so you get used to that, the x-intercepts are an ordered pair. The solutions are a single number. The zeros are that same information. Okay? So just wanted to let you know that's what's happening. Now, this next page you don't have in your notes, but they're really not that necessary for you to have in your notes because all we're going to be doing, and if you're in class, it would just be up on the board. And what I want you to do is go out to Desmos, and I want you to graph these three equations, okay? Now, you don't have to do it all at the same time, or you can. It really doesn't make any difference. So we're going to go out to Desmos right now, and we're going to graph those equations. Actually, before you go, cross this one off. I made a mistake. Cross this one off. That will not be in the information that the students have at class. So cross that one off. Graph these other two. And when you graph these other two, you're going to come up with equations that look like this. So notice what happens. It hits the x-axis once. So what do you notice about the solutions? Well, if my x-intercepts are my solutions, I'm only going to have one solution because I'm only going to hit the x-intercept once. Okay, so let's go back and put that. We would notice that there is only one solution. There is only one solution. Okay, because it hits the x-axis, only touches x-axis once. Okay, good. Let's go out to Desmos now and graph these other three equations. So I have all three equations graphed. Now notice it's not real easy to see, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger and pull it down so I can see all of them. Now, look at this. How many times does the red graph touch the x-axis? How many times does the blue touch the x-axis? How many times does the green touch the x-axis? Exactly, it doesn't. So what that tells you is there are no real solutions. Okay, let's go back to, so these are not touching so I'm going to go back to the Lumio now. And what we found out is these graphs do not cross the x-axis. Do not cross the x-axis. So it looks like there's no solutions. Well, and that's what your homework will give you an option of, that there are no solutions. But I want you to realize in Algebra 2, you'll learn more. And so what we're going to say for now is there are no real solutions. And what we mean by that is there are no real number solutions. In Algebra 2, you don't need to know this right now, you'll learn about a number that is I, and it's actually called an imaginary number, and I'm not going to get into it any more than that. It's got a bad name. It's not imaginary. It really does exist. So right now, for algebra, what we're going to say, for Algebra 1, we're going to say there are no real solutions. And what we mean, there are no real number solutions, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. In your homework, it will just say there are no solutions, but I want you to know the real truth, and that means there are no real number solutions. Great. So go out and do the assignment on Schoology now, and if you have any questions, you know where to find us. Thank you.